Alright, so let's talk about what has feelings and what doesn't. Human beings, we know that human beings have feelings. If I was to punch somebody right in the jaw, they're going to feel that. If I verbally, trash talk somebody, they're going to be emotionally hurt. And when you start to feel hurt or angry, your feelings, kind of send a signal, and this happens all the time. Your feelings are directly, connected to your brain. Because when you get hit in the jaw, your feelings are telling your brain that it hurts, that ouch, that hurt. When you get verbally attacked, your feelings are telling your brain that those words hurt. And when you get angry at something that somebody did, what do you start to do? You start to think, you start using your brain, you start to think about what you would want to do to the other person. If you get hit in the jaw, or after you get hit in the jaw, you're probably thinking what you can do to the other person. Okay, so we know that humans can have feelings. Humans have feelings. Can this stone have feelings? If it did, if the stone had a feeling, it would, now you're telling me that it somehow has a brain. That if I was to hit this stone, the feelings would then send a signal to the stone's brain telling it, ouch, that hurt. You're now telling me that because this stone has feelings, if I verbally, say something mean to this stone, it's going to send a signal to its brain telling that its feelings inside got hurt. If this stone was angry at me, what would this stone be doing? It would then it would be thinking of how it's going to pay me back. But we know that this stone does not have a brain. So if this stone doesn't have a brain, how can it have feelings to tell the brain, hey, I don't feel like being picked up today. And this is another thing. If I was to reach and grab this stone, and if this stone didn't want to be picked up, what would it do? Every time that I reached for it, it would move. This stone cannot move on its own. So, therefore, we know you have to pick it up in order to move it. But if it had feelings, it would also have a brain, and it would also, well, I don't feel like being picked up today. And that's what the result would be. So you know that it does not have feelings. What about this table? This table, if it had feelings, if it didn't feel like being... If this table didn't feel like having me do this to it, don't you think it would, I don't know, do something to, prevent me from doing this? Meaning that it would be able to think for itself. This table cannot think for itself. And trees and plants. Okay, if a tree had feelings, don't you think that the trees would be able to come up with a plan by now to get humans to be extinct? Let's just come up with a way to kill off all humanity. Let's find a way to poison it. Don't you think that if a tree was tired of being cut down, that they would conspire together to figure out how to poison the human, or poison the air, to poison or pollute the air so that humans would die off? See, that's how we know that trees do not have feelings. Humans have been cutting down trees since the beginning of time. Now, creationists believe that we've been here no longer than between 5,000 to 7,000 years, which is a very short time compared to an evolutionist. But any way that you slice it, don't you think, even if you, let's just, for the sake of the argument, let's just say that we have been here for billions of years. That's a really long time. And don't you think by now that if trees had feelings, they would find a way to get rid of us humans? Don't you think that they would be like, well, I don't like these humans cutting us down, so let's just conspire together and, try to find a way to poison humans. But we see that that has not happened. And same thing, being here between 5,000 and 7,000 years, well, that's still enough time for trees to be like, well, these humans they're cutting us down and making tables and chairs and other furniture with my best friend that I had. Don't you think That if trees had feelings, the next time somebody tried to cut down a tree, it would uproot one of its roots and kick you right in the midsection. So my point is that trees cannot have feelings. They cannot think for themselves. See, humans, we can think for ourselves. We have a brain. And when we are happy, when we are mad, when we are sad, our feelings send up our, feelings, our emotions. They send up some chemical to our brain that tells our brain what to think when we are happy, or what to think when we are mad, what to think when we are sad. Trees cannot do that. Stones cannot do that. Plants cannot do that. Grass cannot do that. They cannot think. So this idea that a stone has a feeling is just simply false. And then one more thing before I close this video, or I come to my closing statement, is I heard somewhere that, somewhere somebody said that, well, I don't harm humans because I'm human. I don't harm humans because I'm human, but I'm willing to kick this stone because it's a stone, because it's not human. Well, humans, a human can feel, right? Well, if a human can feel, and what you're saying is true, that this stone can feel, then why is it that you would punch this stone? Why would I punch this stone? If this stone had feelings just like I do, why would I hit it and not hit you? It has feelings, right? So why would I hit this stone and not hit you? You have feelings, this stone has feelings. Shouldn't I just leave this stone be? If that stone had feelings and I'm going to go hit, should I stop myself from hitting that stone? Should I stop my axe from hitting the tree if the tree had feelings? Shouldn't we not cut down trees if they had feelings? Now, there's some people that believe that you shouldn't cut down trees because of whatever. But I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about cutting a tree down because it has feelings, or not cutting a tree down because it has feelings. If a tree or stone or plant has feelings, What about weeds? Should you pick that weed out of your flower garden? Oh, that weed has feelings. It has feelings. Maybe you shouldn't. But wait a minute. Wait a minute. Don't weeds choke plants? Weeds choke plants. Therefore, how are you going to sit there and watch that weed grow? Oh, but it has feelings. It has feelings. We don't want to upset the weed's feelings, do we? Come on, give me a break. Give me a break. You know as well as I do that that weed does not have feelings. I mean, if it had feelings, why would weeds choke plants? I mean, you know, like, see what I'm getting at? What I mean is, because I care about you, I'm not going to hit you, right? Me as a human being, I care about another human being. Therefore, that's the reason why I'm not going to hit another being, because I'm a human being, you're a human being, so I care for you. So I'm not going to hit you, I'm not going to badmouth you, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not going to stab you in the back, I'm not going to talk about you behind your back. You're a human being and I'm a human being. Well, take plants and weeds, apply what I just said to plants and weeds. If weeds had feelings, why do weeds kill plants? That's another thing that you would have to think about. And so this idea, what I'm getting at here is this idea that plants can feel. Don't tell me that they can feel. You know as well as I do that plants cannot feel. They do not have feelings. So, let's be honest. Let's start to be honest here. Wake up and smell the coffee. Trees, plants, vegetables, rocks, this table, this stone. They don't have feelings. Time to wake up and smell the coffee. Sorry I had to break it to you this way, but I mean, if you're somebody that believes that rocks and plants and trees and water, that's another thing. Do you think the water goes, don't drink me today? No. That's not going to happen. So, wake up and smell the coffee, would you? Trees, plants, rocks, water, flowers, weeds, grass, vegetables, fruits, they don't have feelings. So there's one thing that I forgot to say here in this video, is that you might be somebody that goes, well, they've done a study on plants, like they have taken soft music and, like soft loving music and, hateful music and like heavy metal, and just hateful music, and they've taken the love music and played it over, this area of plants, and they've taken the more of the hateful music and played it over this area of plants. And you might say, well, that's evidence of plants, how they have feeling. Come on, give me a break. Do not tell me that that is evidence. Meaning, for a really good example, the Egyptians, you want to know how the Egyptians came up with 12 hours of daylight? Is the Egyptians said, well, your shadow being in front of you, then your shadow to the left. See, when you stand still and the sun is hitting you directly, your shadow is behind you, right? But if the sun is behind you, then your shadow is going to be in front of you. So if the sun moves to this side, your shadow moves. And the Egyptians used their shadow to say that, well, that's proof that here to here is 1 hour. Come on. Don't tell me that that is proof of 1 hour passing. Your shadow being in front of you, and then your shadow going from here to here, that's 1 hour that has passed. How is that evidence? Don't tell me that that is evidence, because you can't just say that that is evidence. You gotta explain why that would be evidence. And so, I know, you might think that I'm crazy. But seriously, think about it. That is, looking at your shadow is not evidence of a 12-hour of daylight. It's just not. Like, you gotta tell me why that would be evidence. And if you can't tell me why that would be evidence, then you cannot use it as evidence. And so, likewise, is when you're saying that, oh, these plants over here, they were given music of love and stuff, and so they grew more than these plants here that have, hard, heavy metal playing, in hateful music, that is evidence. No, you gotta explain how that would be evidence. You can't just say that that's evidence. You can't say that any test is evidence proving that plants have feelings. You gotta explain why that would be evidence. And so I'm not going to explain why in this video why your shadow doesn't tell you that there's 12 hours in a day. Either up here in this corner or in this corner, there should be a video, a little card that pops up. Click on that card on one of these corners, and it's going to take you to the video where I explain time from the Book of Enoch. How I explain how Enoch explains how time works and all of that. So if you are saying, well, you're folly, I don't even know what to call you, I'm laughing my head off right now. Before you comment, watch the video that I have placed for you, and you can click on one of these two corners. Click on that, and it will bring you to the video where I explain time from the Book of Enoch. And I tell you what, you're going to be surprised.